is Stephanie Pickard, and today I'm going to talk to you about incorporating double stops and bends into your solos. So I'm here with Guitar Control. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com/Guitar Control, and also check us out on Facebook. So whether you're watching me on one platform or the other, I'm streaming both. So feel free to ask questions. I'm going to do about 30 minutes of lesson, and then I'll do a Q&A. So I'm going to make sure you guys can hear me. I'm going to play just a little double stop riff while you're all filter in, and I'll make sure you guys can see me and hear me, and we'll get started. All right. So I really love that riff. I know it's not a solo, but just to kind of get what double stops are out there to you guys, a double stop is when you are playing two notes at the same time. It's a very bluesy effect. It's a very cool effect. I actually love putting them in my solos. It is very kind of, like I said, bluesy, but it's also very rock. And you can kind of make it metal-y too. So I think it's kind of just a cool, it just has a lot of like aggression in the way that it sounds. It's very, it speaks a lot. So, you know, when you go, to me, it has a lot of attitude. That probably would have been the best word. So I'm going to see if you can see me on Facebook. I'm going to see if you can see me on YouTube. Please say hi, and then, of course, we will get started. So, all right, let's see if you're on YouTube. Hi, I'm good, thank you. Oh, nope, I'm here. Here Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 Central. So sometimes it takes a second with the program getting to both. It's good to be back. Hello. Cool. Hi, Richard. How have I been? I have been good. I'm just doing a bunch of wedding stuff and a bunch of guitar stuff. I've been recording some shred things this week that I'm really excited about. So I hope to get that out soon so you guys can hear that. I'm trying to get it out, but at least one out in August. So that will be really exciting. And I really like today's topic. So that's also something good. So I hope you guys are all doing well. Facebook, if you can see me, please say hi. And let's get started. And thank you again for the people that tune in every week. It's so cool to see the same faces, and you guys are seriously all over the world, so it's incredible. And again, keep sending in these topics. So these topics are coming from you. So everything that I'm teaching is 100% from you guys. So thank you for sending them in. About vibrato and about, well, I guess bends. I always kind of consider vibrato too, but bends, whoops, bends in your solos and double stops are two things that I do really like. So I'll teach you that riff that I played just so you can kind of get working on your double stops, and then I'll show you how I incorporate both of these into my solos. So anything with soloing, I always recommend backing tracks. We also sell these on guitarcontrol.com, so check those out. But I love backing tracks, and I swear by them. I don't have any with me that I can play for you right now, but because you won't hear it the way that the audio is hooked up. But you won't hear both of us at the same time. But I think they are very, very useful because for me, that's how I really found my voice on the guitar, was having something just repeating and going and going and going, and then I can try out ideas. And, you know, it doesn't get sick or tired of playing with you like maybe a person would. So I really love that because you can just kind of go crazy. All right. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Mike. Oh, I mean, hi, Paul, talking about Mike Campbell. Hi, Joe. Hi, Jason. Awesome. Cool. I'm so glad you guys are all here. Let's go ahead and get going. Of course. That is an awesome username. All right, so that first riff is an Iron Maiden riff. So 2 minutes to midnight, I just think this is a really fun riff. And when I think of double stops, I actually kind of think of this riff. So just to get started, it's not a solo, but it's kind of got some not beginner techniques, or I don't know. It just, you have to kind of have a little bit of fire in your playing when you play it. So that's why I kind of like it, which you also have to do with lead. So I just go down, up on the open A. So the 5th string open. Actually, I do 3. So I go down 1, 2, 3. And it's pretty fast. Like a little gallop. And then my double stop comes in on the 5th fret on both the 4th and 3rd strings. And so what I'm doing is I'm honestly just literally putting one finger on 2 strings. Really similar to what you do when you play an open F chord. So if you've ever played an open F chord on the guitar, you probably really didn't like it at first because it's really frustrating because you start out with an instructor telling you to curve your fingers and arch your fingers and don't touch anything else, don't touch any other strings, and all of a sudden you have this chord where 2 fingers are flat and the rest are arched. So that can be a huge struggle when you're starting out. But this same exact thing, when you bring it into your solo playing, is actually a double stop and really cool. So it's just 2 notes held down at the same time. So I'm holding down the 4th and 3rd strings at the same time. And I'm doing it with 1 finger. So much like a bar chord, but only 2 strings, right? So I go down. So I go from 5 to 7, same strings. And you'll also, another really famous example of this is Deep Purple. So Smoke on the Water, right? I always teach it to people on the open string, just like... just when they're very, very first getting started, just to kind of, you know, it's such a memorable, everybody kind of knows it, it's easy, it's simple, it's just 3 parts, and it gives you some hope when you're starting out to play everything on 1 string, right? But the real riff, right, is doing double stops. Let me check my tuning really quick. But yes, so go ahead and grab your guitars if you haven't already. And I'm just using Axe Effects to tune really quick. This guitar, the weather's been really crazy here, and I don't think my guitar likes it. Cool. All right, cool. So, I'm just checking on you guys really quick. Getting ready to play 2 weeks. Oh, hi Peter. I hope that you are doing awesome. I love Axe Effects. I think it is awesome. I love playing it. For me, I like to record a lot, not just guitar-oriented music, so it has all these effects that I can use my guitar to be different. So I like that I have every effect and every kind of setting that I could possibly have in 1 unit. So that's what I really love about it. It was a huge game changer for me. Awesome. That is very cool. I'm glad that you love both of those techniques. I do too. All right. Can you give me examples about blues? Hi Daniel, of course. So I'm going to do that in just a second. I'm going to stay focused, but I will get to your question. So awesome. Thank you guys for sending them in. Cool. All right, so let's check this out. I'm gonna be on Facebook for a while because it always goes away. So again, that riff, just if you're brand new to double stops, and remember, I'm gonna say this again, I know I always say this, but I really truly encourage you to take whatever licks I show you and make them your own. Because the ones that I'm doing today are actually just honestly what I do. So it's not something I've taken from somebody else. It might be something inspired by or something in my whole career or whatever, but I always encourage you to take something and make it your own. So if you see me do this lick that you think is kind of cool, think about something that I haven't thought about. Like throw in a totally different technique that I haven't done and you'll make it your own. And that's the beauty of everything, is because we're all different. So my influences are different than yours. And what I like is probably different than what you like, you know? So, you know, I love Paul Gilbert's playing and Steve Vai's playing. I really like Zakk Wylde's playing. I like a lot of elements from these people. So if you can mix all those together, you get something totally different, right? And I also like anything, I guess, just random music that doesn't even have to do with guitar. So if you like somebody totally different than me, you can come up with something totally different too. And even, I don't know, if you do like the same stuff. Do I have my own channel? I do. It's just Stephanie Pickard. So I'm right there. It's either Shredini or Stephanie Pickard, but I'm pretty sure it's Stephanie Pickard. So here's my name. And then my username on everything is Shredini. All right. So let's get back to that. And thank you guys again for tuning in. It's always a great time. So I'm going to get back to that first riff because time really flies on these. So down, up, down, up, down. Then your little double stop, right? So 5 and 5. And so you just want to make sure that you really are being accurate with your picking. So you're only picking those 2 strings that you want to hear, and your fingers really putting the pressure down there. So what I do is I use this part of my finger. So, you know, you have that line across your finger with the very top part of your finger. I should know my anatomy better, I guess. I don't know what to call that. Your fingertip, I guess, would be this, but you're using this part of your finger. So I'm just above that line of my finger, and it's flat. So just that part has to be flat. and then I use my ring finger for the other one. So I go down, up, down, 5. I'll just say the fret. Remember, we're on, all the double stops are on the 4th and 3rd strings in this riff, and that open note, that chug, is that A, so it's the open 5th string. So down, up, down, 5, down, up, down, 7, down, up, down, 5, down, up, down, 7, 7, 7. So that part's cool, it's like spaced out. Let me do it again, down, up, down, 5, down, up, down, 7, down, up, down, 5, down, up, down, 2, 2, and then I use, that's also very classic rock kind of thing, but in a metal song, so can kind of be either. So open, 3, open, but using that middle finger to get that little lick. So that's a really cool riff just to kind of get going on your double stops. So if you have your guitars, definitely pick them up and try that. What? Okay, I don't understand one of those comments. And thank you for the other comment. So cool. All right, let's see. Do you play acoustic music? What do you have? Oh, no, I wrote that chat. So that was me. I'm monitoring the chat. So sometimes somebody else in Guitar Control chimes in, but I'm actually monitoring it right now. So that was me. I do play acoustic. I like to do singer-songwriter stuff too. Metal's kind of my specialty, but I like both. So that's a lot of fun. What guitar do you have? Right now I'm playing an ESP. I love my ESP. I also have a bunch of Menardic guitars. I have an Ibanez 7-string. I have a really nice Martin that I like a lot too. And I have a really cool Gibson from like the 50s. That's pretty awesome too. Cool. Yep, 2 minutes to midnight. So that was just to get you guys started. So when I'm incorporating, I guess just a couple topics, we're already going so fast into the time that we have. So we're already about halfway through. So I want to make sure we talk a little bit about these topics too. So when I hear the topic, incorporating double stops and bends into your solos, I want you guys to also be really creative when you think about things like bends. Like, I think I get a lot of this from teaching, is sometimes it makes you rewind and think to when you knew nothing. So sometimes you know way more than you think you know. I mean, we always all have a lot we can always improve on and learn, and you can also, I really truly believe, learn from anybody. But you want to think, okay, a bend. So we have a normal bend. But there's also so many different ways to express yourself with a bend. I remember Paul Gilbert saying, I can't remember if, I got to study with him a little bit, which was amazing, and I went to MI and I got to hear him talk a lot, and I really always found him truly inspiring. But they'd have pictures of all these great guitarists on the wall, and I'm pretty sure it was in his picture, and it said, no, something about just that guitar is the most fun thing to do ever, but also just that a bend on the guitar, you can't do that on any other instrument. You know, a keyboard can kind of fake something like that, but a guitar is really where we just have so much emotion, and it's really an instrument that we truly, truly can pour our heart into. And so use that, you know, like especially with bends. I think the telltale, like right when you see somebody that's not like killing it maybe, or could work on something, is always vibrato. So it's the way that you end on something, or your bends, right? So if you play fast all day, but you don't have like a cool little ending phrase, it's just not that exciting. You know, I mean, unless it's incorporated in the music where it's cool that you stopped, but it just doesn't do the same. So it's not as polished, and it's not as, I don't know, it's not like a punch like it is when you have that cool ending. It's just like that cherry on top. You want to make sure that you finish it. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's just, to me, it's so important. How do you get it to where you switch to being paid? Wait, I don't know if I understand that question. Oh, how did I get to where I got to switch to being paid to play guitar? I'm going to answer that at the end, since it's still lesson time. But I guess a quick answer, I'll come back to it. But a quick answer was being really driven and not taking no for an answer. You know, I've had a ton of different jobs, all mostly, if not completely, music related, but just always pushing through. And the best thing that I did was, a few years ago especially, I always taught, so I taught a lot getting paid to play, but I wasn't blast it out there, on the internet. I was more just in schools and stuff, and I worked really hard at it, and I ended up becoming one of the most requested teachers at the school that I was at, which was really cool, and had a waiting list, and that was really amazing to go from like one student to really working at that. And the biggest thing I learned from teaching to get paid to play was also, it's not about you, it's about what somebody else is asking you. So I always tried to really listen to others. That can be hard though, because sometimes you are less patient when you're done, because you're just like, oh my gosh, I've been patient for so many hours. But because you're giving a lot. Sometimes it's like being a counselor. But for more successful stuff afterwards was a few years ago, I started just putting clips of myself playing guitar out on the internet, and that really helped me. So just doing things that were kind of hard, or I would on Instagram post things that I would call Insta Jam or something, and doing little clips of really hard things, and that made me get a following, and that led to other things. That's how Guitar Control found me, Matrix had found me, or I found them, or that's how I got with them, and I've gotten some other work by doing that. So just getting your name out there, and just really being persistent, and not ever letting it get you down. Oh, I hope not. The female Jack Black, I really hope not. Well, not that I don't like Jack Black, but I just don't think that I am the female Jack Black. Awesome. Thanks, Jim. So yes, let's go over some licks. Maybe that's like Jumanji? Alright, so what I was talking about is different kinds of bends too. We have unison bends, where you hold down one note and you bend. The other one, you can kind of move them up. You probably heard that in solos, so that's a way you can incorporate a bend in your solo to kind of build momentum. A unison bend is a really cool thing to do. And also, like I was saying, I always try to think outside the box, and I remember the first time I started using unison bends, I tried to try to bend the note under it or tap it. Do something cool. Like, I always try to do something that isn't what I would expect to do, and sometimes it's awful and sometimes it's awesome. So I think that's a really cool thing to try to do in your playing, is throw in something that you wouldn't expect and see what you come up with. And that's a cool way to be creative. Like, okay, I like those Paul Gilbert tap slides. What if I throw one in there? Okay, I love tapping, so if I bend this and then I tap that note, what does that sound like together? Or just try to think of different things and jam them together and see what comes out. So double stops, I always like to just do the... So someone was asking about blues. That's probably a little bit more rock style. I tend to always sound really rock, so I apologize, unless I'm really, really trying to not sound rock. But for me, I really love those pinch harmonics and just that extra like punch at the end of licks. Probably like a Zakk Wylde thing. I just really like that, and now it just kind of comes out of me. So I like these double stops here. So just a simple lick that I would throw in that I have in my repertoire that I use quite a bit is I do my double stop in the pentatonic position or minor. So I'm just in A minor or A pentatonic, and obviously you can move this anywhere. I always like to demonstrate things in A because it's kind of in the middle of the fretboard, and it's just, I like it because all the positions of A just fit nicely on the guitar. But obviously you can do the same thing in E, and B, and G. So it's not just an A thing, of course. So like anything, all these licks, you can translate them wherever you want. So, oh, awesome. Hi, David. All my family's in San Diego. That's very cool. Thank you. I'm glad I don't look like Jack Black. Not that that's bad. I shouldn't even say that. Jack Black is awesome. School of Rock is very cool. Oh, Jack Black School of Rock. I get it. That's cool. Then I am like that. Oh, thank you, Richard. That's really cool. I would like to be in School of Rock. I've worked at School of Rocks before, so maybe let's get the movie going. I do sing. I actually started playing guitar because I sing. So my dad heard me writing songs, but I was writing, I guess they were more like poems, and I was trying to sing them. So I kind of, I started like as a lyricist, and my dad asked me to learn a couple chords, and I completely fell in love with the guitar, and I stopped singing for a really long time until I started studying with Bruce Boyer from Racer X, who is a phenomenal guitar player. If you haven't ever seen him, you should check him out. It was him and Paul Gilbert and Racer X. I studied with both of them, but more Bruce, like a lot longer with Bruce. because Paul did just lessons through MI, and you know, you couldn't really get one-on-one, but I got to study with Bruce. I mean, you could get one-on-one, but not for a long period of time. So I got to study with Bruce for a long time, and when he found out that I could sing, he like totally called me out and was like, what are you doing? Like, it's so hard to find a lead singer, and I would trade limbs to sing, like, what is wrong with you? And that kind of got me out of my shell, and I started singing again. So that helped a lot. I'm not gonna sing today, but maybe. I have sang in a lot of these before. I have trouble with bends and release, keeping the sound, bringing the string back, up and down on the 22nd fret. It always mutes at the top of the bend. Sometimes, I don't think you're totally, maybe you're not fretting out, but if you're having trouble with those, just remember, it's not always how hard you're pressing on the guitar too, but the sustain does come from your hand. And so applying that pressure, see how it'll stay there for a really long time. You can give it an extra pick if you need to. But I mean, if you're way up there and you're trying to bend, it could be your guitar, so you might want to get your guitar checked out, but also just making sure that you're getting those calluses really strong so that when you're bending that it doesn't hurt, and that you're not, you know, not applying as much strength to it, because well, not strength, I'm sorry, but pressure, because the cool thing about the guitar is when you press down on the guitar, the noise actually comes from the string hitting the frets, not from the string hitting the wood. So it's not a thing, like, it's not a macho thing or a thing where you have to go crazy or hurt yourself over, but it's just enough, and really testing the guitar and just pressing down and seeing what enough is, and then after a while you'll just get a more natural touch. So let's go ahead and make sure we get some of those licks in. Cool. So that would be awesome. I would love to do an acoustic class someday. So yes, keep sending in your topics, because we are listening, and they might wind up in a video from me, or they might wind up in a video from somebody else, or in a live stream, so make sure that you leave your topics. All right, so let's get to those licks. So like I was saying, a lick that I like to do, oh, awesome. Hello, Indiana. Hi, Jack. Thank you. I appreciate it. So a lick that I like to do, that I was saying that I kind of throw into a bunch of stuff, is that I like this little double stop. And I also like to bend down with my double stops. So that's another way to incorporate a bend in your solo, right? So in bends, we have quarter step bends, half step bends, whole step bends. That's also something to think about when testing yourself with a bend. Just take the note that you're bending, or let's do this one, and you're gonna go up a half step and then go match it. And then go up a whole step. And test it. And even if you have like a recording of it, is better, because then you can actually hear it. But you can also do that. And then a little quarter step bend is just the ones that are just under it. They're just like little accents almost. They're just tiny little things, like a passing note. It's not actually going crazy with the bend, but you know, like when I do those quarter step. So what I do is I go, I bend down on the 3rd and 2nd string, 5th fret with my pointer finger, and then my ring finger is already ready. So I've also talked a lot about this, is I like to have my fingers ready to go, right? So I always use the easiest finger so that I can play things faster, and then at that point, if I want to throw in something even crazier, I can. 4th string, I go 7, 5, 7. So just try that lick even. Just if you're at home, grab your guitar. And it's always about putting the most emotion in, like we were just talking about. So one other cool thing that Bruce told me was play a really simple song, but make me turn my head. Like, I don't care about all that fluff or whatever. Like, if you can't make me turn my head playing some simple riff, then I don't care. So that was also a really cool thing I learned there. I wonder how I can adapt this bending to be more pronounced on the acoustic guitar. The acoustic guitar is a hard one. I played for a country guy for a minute, and I had to do a lot of solo stuff on acoustic. And I know they make those nylon strings that are steel wound, and those are easier. But for me, I play really thick picks, like this is a 2.0, and I do a lot of bends and a lot of, you know, like pinch harmonics and stuff, and I was snapping the strings. I was literally going through these strings like a pack a day. It was awful for me. but they do work for other people, so you can check that out. Thank you, Rick. I appreciate that. But just keep doing it. So you're going to get calluses, or maybe go down a gauge on your acoustic so that it's not so crazy, because acoustic is a lot harder. Those strings are a lot thicker, so you can try that too. But I would just, I don't know what Cameron is talking about. Yeah, I don't know, Cameron, what you're talking about. Sorry, I just tuned in to you. Oh, I didn't know I did that. I don't know what's not true about speed picking and fast picking. I didn't even say anything about speed picking and fast speed picking. Oh, because I said ending them without, like, attitude? Well, that's my opinion. I don't think so. If someone ends it not good, I mean, if you stop cleanly, then it's fine. But if you just, like, kind of flub at that moment, and obviously you're not having a lot of control. So you want to have feel and even those things. So even things that oh, sorry. Sorry, Cameron, I couldn't read all of it. But even things that don't, oh, I guess you agree with me. So cool. Then we have nothing to talk about. So, cool. But I do like both of those things. I do like sweep picking and speed picking a lot. Thank you, Rick. Nylon, it depends. Like the nylon ones that are steel wound, I really liked. I wish I remembered the name of what I was using, because I was buying them so much at the time. Because I was supposed to be playing this like slash solo, and it just was, acoustic is not made for that. My pinch harmonic tips, yes, they're probably not going to be that great though, but it is what worked for me. So, I mean, not that great, but not what you're expecting. So I was told to just go in a room and just try it. Like, you choke up on your pick a lot. So for me now, I do it without thinking, but you are like choked up and you're flush. So when you hit the string, you're not just hitting the string with the pick, you're also hitting it with your thumb, and that's what makes that noise. And so later on, you can add in your vibrato and stuff, but if you just pick a note, try and just keep doing that until you start to get that sound, and then eventually you'll kind of move back and forth where you won't be in pinch harmonic form, and then you will be like choked up. So choked up when we're pinch harmonic, and then back off when you're not. And the cool thing too, like you probably learned from Van Halen, is that different parts of the string give you different pinch harmonics, and you don't need to obviously go crazy like that, but it is cool. So back to our double stops and our bends. I'm gonna give you a lick with both. So we learned that part. So then I go just a little sharp little bend. So see how the cool thing about bends is you can have them a bunch back to back, and you can make them all sound different. So, I mean, Whole Lotta Love, there's that solo that Jimmy Page does where the bends are insane. They're going like 2.5 steps, and they're nuts. Like, and if you haven't gone to our, oh my gosh, we only have 2 minutes. If you haven't gone to our YouTube channel yet, check that out. I have a whole lesson on that. But bends are awesome because bends are the most expressive thing, I would say, on the guitar. Because, like I was saying earlier, it is something that you cannot just do on any other instrument. It's really a guitar thing, and there's just so much attitude and so much feel in these that it's just different than any other technique. So we did, and then we go, and then I have my pinch harmonic, and then you can also do the classic bend lick that you've seen tons of rock and roll gods play in different ways, right? Where we have, so that's also a cool lesson for you guys, is if you can go home and make up your own kind of pentatonic lick, the whole, which is your double stop here, but we're picking it. So we're going bend, bending the 7th fret, 3rd string, and then I'm barring 5-5 on the 2nd and 1st string, and I'm going 2-1 string, so. So what I like to do to kind of make them stick out is I really love going, lately I've been doing this a lot in my playing, is I like to kind of slide a whole step out or a half step out depending on where I am on the guitar. But I just think it's kind of a cool touch. That's what I've been doing lately. You obviously don't have to do it, but I think it's kind of cool. So then I go. So instead of, for me, not that this is dated, but since I play a lot of metal, that doesn't always fit. You know, there are other ways to do it, like the Jimmy Page one, or the... Someone was asking about blues. This was one of the coolest things I thought I learned from a blues lesson, was just because, you know, thinking outside the box again. You're so used to this one, but going... or however you want to end it. I'm just doing the same thing, but then instead of going the second string first, I go the first string first, and then the second string. You know, and then for blues, I always like when you incorporate double stops with a lot of stops, like literal stops in blues, like a... You know, I don't know, they just kind of phrase things really cool. So that would be my recommendation there. I'm going to pick up some of these questions really quick. We are actually almost completely out of time. So it is Q&A time. So thank you guys so much for sticking around. I really appreciate it. This topic was a lot of fun. I feel like it went by way too fast, but that's probably a good thing. What? Okay. You should stop. I think this is weird. So this conversation should stop. So anyways, it's time to ask questions. No need to argue with each other on the internet. But yes, it's Q&A time. Before we get to Q&A time really quick, I am going to give you guys a discount code. So thank you for hanging out with me, today. Guitar Control has offered up this code for you to get a discount on Killer Guitar Control Secrets. So check this out. I just put a link for a discount in Facebook. I'm going to put this in YouTube, and this is for our Killer Guitar Control Secrets DVD. It is very cool. It is all about playing from the heart, something that I truly, truly believe in. So check this out. Awesome, Jim. That's so cool. I really appreciate that. This is all about playing from your heart. We're going to go over 3 things. It's technique, fretboard knowledge, and hand-brain connection. So getting what's in your head out of your hands. This is perfect for the person that wants to have their own voice on the guitar, which I couldn't recommend more. It's like, I don't know, isn't it kind of weird when you go to buy something and like you're at the market even and you see a cereal that's like Lucky Charms, but it's called like Schmucky Schmarms? Like, it's just like, why? I don't know. For me, you know, I would much rather get something original. So no one's gonna want to see you play just like Kirk Hammett. They're gonna want to go watch Kirk Hammett. But if you can be inspired by Kirk Hammett and run with it and create something new, then you win. So that's so cool. So anyways, I want you guys to check out this DVD. This is a discount for you guys. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Oh, wow. Oh, that's so cool. That's awesome, Jeff. I really appreciate that. That's very rewarding to hear as a teacher. So I really think that's really cool. Jeff is saying that he jammed and he threw in some of my tips and it helped him and he had a blast. How long have I been playing? I've been playing for about 12 years. I completely fell in love with the guitar. I went crazy once I started playing guitar and I just never put it down. So for me, I always wanted to start when I was like 5, but I didn't. But I just love the guitar and I think it's a lot of fun. And I think it's really good to have a really positive outlook on the guitar as well, because I know it's really easy to get caught up and get an ego about things, or I don't know, it becomes a competition, but that's truly not what it is about. And for me, the most rewarding thing is being inspired by all different things. When I kind of got to that level where I didn't care anymore about being competitive, I learned a billion more things. Check out this link, Richard. I don't want to give you false information, so check it out with this discount, and then it will give you a price right there. So I want to make sure I don't say a price and then it's different. So check that out. Awesome. So it's Q&A time. Feel free to ask me questions. And yeah, I will answer them now for a few more minutes. And then other than that, I will see you Thursday for another topic that you guys turned in. If you haven't already, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. Marshmallow Mateys. I know I probably shouldn't have said Schmucky Schmarms, but I thought it was kind of funny. I always wanted to be in a cover band that had a ridiculous name like that. I don't know, my brother and my dad are really funny. And I remember, like, I loved Children of Bodom, and I wanted to be in Schmodom. Like, I don't know, when all the tribute bands were coming out, I thought it would be funny. But I probably would be the only person laughing, so it wouldn't be good. I've been playing a long time myself. We always get a different perspective and reminders of where we came from. Yes, I always say this story, but it's because I think it is so cool, is when I was studying with Bruce, he would tell me about this one guy that would come in, it was a good friend of his, and he would come in and say, like, oh, hey, can I borrow that acoustic guitar? And he would never tell Bruce why, and then Bruce would have the TV on and he's playing for like some huge person. I forget who it was. I want to say like Rihanna or somebody. And the guy never bragged, and Bruce always said the coolest thing about this guy was a guitar could fall and he would find beauty in that and he would create music out of it. And I always thought that that was so cool, to just have zero ego and just learn from everything. So try to learn from everything because it really helps a lot. I've been playing only 2 years, stuck at chords, nobody to jam with, not sure how to break across the plateau. Any tips? Yes, jam tracks. So for me, it is hard when you don't have anybody to play with. I do really recommend playing with somebody else, and somebody that is as good or better is always a really great thing, even though maybe not for your ego at the moment, but somebody that's different. Like I always talk about how I play with my fiance a lot, and we, you know, jam. He always does these like holiday videos with me because I like to do them for like 4th of July or Halloween or something. I always like to make a shred version of a really classic song, and we started doing them together. And I mean, he's a great guitar player on his own. He's in a big metal band and stuff, and for me, he plays so differently. Like he's like really technical too, but he writes super, like, I feel like, not to like put myself down or anything, but I think he's very creative. Like I think I am too, but I'm more like shred school, and he's more like, he'll make up just like crazy dissonant things that I would never think of. And so, and he's really good with effects and uses a whammy pedal a lot. And for me, that really pushes me to always write something different and out of my element. And I think it's been really cool for both of us. I think we both learn a lot from one another, and I truly recommend that. But if you do not have somebody to jam with, jam tracks are the best thing ever. John is saying everybody says to learn scales before you learn before you learn anything else. Scales are really helpful, and I always find I never know truly what to. I recommend people different things. So if this was my own lesson and we were one-on-one and you were asking me for you personally, I would more ask you about yourself and your goals, and then I would just get you wherever you need to get. Like I always, if it's a little girl that comes in and she wants to be a songwriter, or a little boy comes in and he wants to be a songwriter, that's all that I show them. I teach them how to be a songwriter in the vein that they want to be in. If a little girl or boy or an older boy or girl comes in and they want to learn shred stuff, we learn shred stuff. But not everybody, like, everybody learns differently. I think scales are awesome. I don't think everybody's gonna sit down and learn them in every single position, and sometimes they might get sick of the guitar and leave. So as a teacher, your job is to make someone enjoy the guitar. But I think scales are great. They're like a blueprint, you know. But I've played in bands with people that don't know anything, like don't know any scales, and they write amazing solos too. So I always kind of try to recommend you be in between. So you never want to be so great at theory and everything that you lose your creativity, but you never want to be so like unopposed or like opposed, to wanting to learn like theory or structure that you ignore it. So I always think it's a happy medium. So make sure that you're not just playing scales every day and you don't enjoy that, because the solo is not going to sound great if you're just playing up and down the scale. But if you go learn a scale and then throw in your licks, and then you have a blueprint. So I do like knowing my scales, because for me, when I was in that band, if I got off, like, I don't know, if I got thrown off in between my solo or something happened with the band, I would know where to go and know where to find myself and know what key we were in. And the other person in the band, they were such a good writer, but if they got thrown off at all, if anything was not exactly as planned, they were completely lost. So I don't think that's great. So in the middle. I give my friends that are learning the Gig Bag of Scales book. They can learn scales and patterns both. Yes, I do like scales a lot though. So learn them, but I wouldn't say before you do anything else, but also don't like jump to the back of the book, you know, but learn them, at least your pentatonic scale, because that's a career builder for a lot of people. All right, I'm gonna go to YouTube now. You start taking lessons or stringed on your own first, and how long did it take you to play a solo? I'm like, I would say, oh wait, is it possible to solo and sing simultaneously? Yes, but it's hard. I don't think it's possible. Well, it is. Anything is possible. But for me, if I do it, I have to like not be thinking about what I'm soloing. So I can't promise I'm delivering the best of solos if I'm singing at the same time. Let's see. For people who have only been playing 2 or 2.5 hours a day to practice and play, what do you recommend they do? I can do mental practice at work, but I only get 2 hours to play on the guitar a day. So actually 2 hours of practice is great. You are doing so much better than so many people that I've taught, so that's awesome. Your brain can only really take in about 30 minutes of new information, so don't worry about that. I will say, if you know how you're saying mental practice, listening is some of the best practice that you can do. So honestly, listening to a song, you're going to learn so many nuances. I remember another guitar player I was talking to would always say, oh, I listened to this song, and he was even listening to like down picks and up picks, and like that's crazy to me. I mean, I can hear it and I kind of just do it, but I don't always have the patience to listen to other people's playing in that much detail. But I did think that was really cool because it was so analytical, that's a learning thing too. And sometimes I've noticed when I've had to learn songs really quickly that you might not even be playing something right because you just jumped in and tried to do it. So I would say listening is a great tip, and then just make your practice count, you know. So if you feel like 2 hours is not a lot, turn off your phone or just kind of make it count. So don't just noodle or do something, make it count. But I would say jam tracks again. I think jam tracks are the best thing in the world. Did you start taking lessons or learn on your, or how long did it take you to play solo? I did not, let's see, I mean, I think I told my parents, like, I don't want to play. And then, like, but I did want to play, and then I think I snuck a guitar in my room and tried to play it, and they were like, okay, that's so weird, you obviously want to play. And so they signed me up for lessons. So my parents actually kind of, they didn't force me to do it, they noticed that I had an interest. And, you know, I have an older brother, and I kind of grew up just, you know, when I was really young, doing what he was doing. So, like, he played soccer, so I played soccer. And I thought I was really into soccer until he kind of went off to college, and then I was kind of like, oh, I don't think this is my thing. And I had always been interested in music and singing, but I hadn't really picked up an instrument. I played a little bit of piano, but guitar, I just, like, fell in love immediately, you know. I started out liking, like, totally different things. I think I liked Blink-182 and stuff, and I was a little bit natural at guitar, but I also worked really hard at it. So, you know, I was learning some of that stuff really fast, and then my dad kept kind of feeding this passion of mine and saying, like, well, listen to Hendrix and listen to Cream and listen to Band of Gypsies, and then I just went crazy. And then I also happened, all my friends in high school were, like, the metal kids, and so the metal kids showed me all the metal guitar players, which led me to the shred guitar players, which really actually made me a lot like my style now. So that's kind of what did it for me. But I wasn't self-taught, but I mean, I learned a lot on my own, but I did have lessons. Is it a series of lessons? The DVD is a lesson in itself, showing you how to play, or showing you how to play from your heart. So make sure you do check it out. Can you help me? I need to learn how to phrase better. Hi, Christopher. That is a much longer subject, but a quick tip I would just say is think about the guitar as a vocal, like try and make it sing. So that's what I would do as a quick tip, but hopefully we can do that as an entire lesson. Do you teach modes? Hi, Doug. Yes, I do, and I actually have a whole live stream on them. So like I was saying, if you go to our YouTube channel and you subscribe to that, you can just see all of the playlists, and there will be a playlist that's all me, a playlist of somebody else, and all these other people. So make sure you check those out, but I did do a modes lesson, so check that out. Make a scale the sentence with some chords. Oh, thank you. Of course, that's really nice. I appreciate that. All right, we are actually getting to almost the end. Since even though in the notes of the chords of the song. So Jose, if you're having a hard time, a scale would probably help in that case. But also use your ear. Your ear is your best friend. So, you know, I always try to tell people, if it sounds good, it is good. You know, like so many times I think people worry a lot about like what's technically right or this or that. But if it sounds good, it is good. So, I mean, I think the cool thing, I've said this before too, is the Marty Friedman, Jason Becker game, where they used to just play awful progressions, like you would expect, like, and someone would have to solo over it and just find the note, and it's like, what would you do in that case? Would you, you know, you can always bend a note until it sounds good, so it's just being creative and being able to do whatever you can at that moment. Oh, right, we are actually, there were so many questions today, and that was awesome, so I think that's really great that you guys all asked so many questions. I really appreciate that. Send in your topics. If you are on YouTube and you are sending in a topic, make sure you leave it in a comment when this video goes to our page. So if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel and keep checking back in. I'll be here on Thursday. I'm going to give you the discount code to Killer Guitar Control Secrets. So make sure you check out this DVD. It is awesome. All about playing from your heart. Remember, covering technique, which is all the flashy stuff, the speed picking, the kind of coloring of what we do in our phrases. our fretboard knowledge, which is your scales, your arpeggios, your chords, your notes, right? And then hand-brain connection, so getting what's in your head out of your hands. So make sure you check this out, and that is for you for hanging out with me today. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate that. I love seeing the same people here all the time, and I really appreciate all your questions and your time and spending this hour with me. So thank you so much. So I'm going to put this into YouTube. Melvin's question. I don't believe that acoustic really like hurts your experience, your learning experience at all. For me, I always find it weird that people treat them like two completely different instruments. There's definitely different things you can do, but you know, an A minor chord is still an A minor chord, a C chord is still a C chord. It's still the same instrument, but obviously you're not going to want to like rip a crazy solo on an acoustic. But I do think it can help a lot because of the strength that you have to build to play the acoustic. So I wouldn't worry about it slowing you down or not slowing you down. I think it would actually help you because it does make your fingers stronger. I see that Defender just said that too. It does make your fingers stronger because the strings are thicker. So sometimes when you learn something hard on an acoustic, if you go to your electric, it'll feel like insane. So that's kind of cool, but it definitely won't hurt you. All right, so thank you guys so much. I really appreciate that. Patrick, I don't know if you asked a question, I didn't see it. I'm sorry. Facebook, it goes, like I only see 5 at a time. So if somebody makes a bunch of comments at once, I don't really see anything else. And I'm toggling between YouTube and Facebook. So you can ask your question again really quick. If I don't see it, please do ask me next time and I will answer it. And again, I will be here Thursday at 7 Central. So make sure you tune in. Awesome. I think that is very cool. So yeah, I'm glad you guys have so many topics. I'm glad you guys have so many questions. Make sure you tune in Thursday. So I will see you all Thursday. Check out that DVD. I'll throw it in for you all one more time. So I really appreciate seeing you all here. Of course, Defender. So check this out. This is your discount for hanging out with me today. Great topic. I hope you guys learned a lot about double stops, phrasing, and yeah, I hope I got to answer all your questions. So I will see you next week. Or sorry, Thursday, not next week. I will see you